Alright, if you're like me, during Thanksgiving, I'm not really looking for turkey. I'll eat it if it's there, but I'm really just looking for these sides. However, that doesn't mean I don't want to get my protein in. So I wanted to come up with a way that I can get my turkey and my sides in at the same time. And what this has led to is something I like to call the Thanksgiving bake. And to start, we need to make some cornbread, which, it doesn't actually have any corn in it, but we're going to call it that. So get you 1 pound of ground chicken, throw it into your pan, let's set over medium-high heat, and simply just chop it up, brown it up, get it cooked all the way through. And once it's cooked all the way through, we can take this, set it aside, and pull out our food processor. And to this, we're going to add in 6 ounces of pork rinds. And if they don't all fit, get some in there, close it up, and pulse it a couple times, just to make some room. Now we can add in the cooked chicken, preferably without the chicken water, or broth, I suppose is what that is. 2 teaspoons of baking powder. This just makes it fluffy. If you don't want to use it, you don't really have to, I suppose, but it does help the texture out a lot. And if you want to use aluminum-free baking powder, it's probably recommended, but this is just what I have, so I'm going with it. And then we'll finish it up with 6 eggs. Get this blended on low for about a minute, maybe 2 minutes, just until you see it's kind of all incorporated and it's kind of a doughy texture. After about a minute of blending, this is kind of what you should be left with. It's thickened up pretty well. And once you've gotten to this point, let's go ahead and get a casserole dish, or what I'm going to use is a cast iron pan. And I believe this is an 8-inch, maybe a 9-inch cast iron pan. And it fits this amount of dough perfectly in here. But first, I want to get some bacon grease and just kind of lube this thing up a bit. This is also going to help fry the outside a little bit. Once it's greased up, go ahead and get all the batter into the pan. And just kind of spread it out, make it flat. And once it's all in there, it should look a bit like this. But for now, I'm going to get this into an oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 40 minutes, or until it is nice and firm all the way through. It's crispy on top. Can you hear that? Oh yeah, nice and crispy. We want to let this cool off, and while we're doing that, let's go ahead and take care of the chicken. Yeah, that's right. I said chicken. Because, like I said, turkey isn't the most desired thing in my opinion. I might as well go ahead and make it the way I want to eat it. So I got some bone-in, skin-on chicken thighs. Mostly for the skin. I don't really care about the bone. If you want to make your own stock for this recipe, feel free. But what I'm going to do with this is imbue all the flavors of Thanksgiving right into this chicken. But first, I need to get it cleaned up. And for this recipe, I'm going to be going with 3 of the larger chicken thighs I've seen lately. Either 3 large chicken thighs or 4 medium or like 5 small. Let's go ahead and remove all the skin. And we want to get the bone out. Go and repeat this. If you don't want to use the skin, you can feel free to get boneless, skinless chicken thighs, but either way, get it into a bowl and repeat until you're done. And let's bring our attention to the chicken itself. I want to go ahead and add a little bit of oil to this. You don't have to add olive oil like I'm going to use. If you want to use like rendered tallow or chicken fat even, use that. I'm not judging what your preference is. I'm only adding about, 2 teaspoons just so that my seasoning can stick. And my seasoning consists of this, which I'll leave on screen now. It's going to be 1.5 teaspoons of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper, 1/4 teaspoon of ground sage, 1 teaspoon of fresh thyme, or about 1/4 teaspoon of dry, 1 teaspoon of fresh chopped rosemary, or about another 1/4 teaspoon of that if it's ground, and 2 cloves of garlic. So I want to get all that onto my chicken. And just make sure the entirety of all your chicken is coated evenly. And this is going to give us those Thanksgiving-y type flavors we really want. Once you think it's evenly coated, we're going to take some plastic wrap and just cover it and let it rest in the fridge for at least 2 hours. Preferably you want to do this overnight just to maximize flavor, but I'm not expecting you to do that. I'm not even going to do that. I'm going to wait the 2 hours. And once that time is up for this marinade, we can start cooking this. And for me, it's been about 4 hours, so I'm going to go ahead and start getting these seared off. Just place them straight into a pan that is set over medium-high heat and start getting a sear. You also want to preheat your oven to about 350. And I gotta say, as soon as I hit this pan, all these herbs and the garlic just started immediately aromatizing the air around me. It honestly just smells like it's Thanksgiving Day right now. I'm gonna cook this until it has a nice sear just on one side, kind of like that. Go and get it flipped. And we can put this into the oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 12 to 17 minutes, just until it is at 175 internal, or, it's nice and firm. So since the chicken is done, we can remove this and we need to move on to making the gravy, which I've already got all these little charred bits in the pan, and I've got some decent chicken stock in there as well. All I'm going to do is add in 3/4 cup of heavy cream and begin to reduce it. This is quite thickened. And it coats the spoon really well. So it's going to turn the heat off. Give it a taste for seasoning. Needs a touch more salt, maybe 1/4 teaspoon, and that is perfect. Okay, we have one more step to do before we move on, and that is make the dressing. So we're going to get our cornbread that we cooked earlier out of the pan. Should be looking pretty nice, kind of like a little loaf of cornbread. And I'm just gonna give this a rough chop. And if you've never seen this before, this is the texture of it. It's actually quite grainy, like cornbread actually is. Just get this cut up into chunks or whatever. Honestly, you could just crumble it up in your hands if you wanted to. All right, and it doesn't have to be perfect. You can have some big chunks in there too. It would probably actually help the entire thing. Now that we have that moderately broken up, I'm going to be using some Gator Bite. I want some Cajun flavors in this dressing slash stuffing. So I'm going to go with about a teaspoon and a half of that. And I'm just going to start adding in about a half a cup of chicken stock at a time. And just mixing that in to the cornbread. And if you want to get Gator Bite, you can always go to CarnivoreCompanion.com. That is my company and it supports me directly. So if you'd like to do that, I'd appreciate it. But if you don't, just use some salt, use some pepper, use whatever you can tolerate. Still pretty dry. I'm gonna add some more. And if you don't want to do this part with your hands, this is a good time to pull out that potato masher you probably haven't used in a while. You know what? I think that's going to be pretty good. I'm going to add just a touch more. And I will give it a taste for seasoning. And let's get to assembling. I have my cooled off chicken thighs right here. I'm just going to kind of squeeze those to break them up. Since it's cooked pretty perfectly, it shouldn't shred at least a little bit. Unless you have some big old chunks of cartilage that you forgot to take out. And if you're curious, I'm using an 8x8 cake pan. You can use a small casserole dish if you happen to have one. Could be the way to go. I don't know why I don't buy one, but this is just what I've been using. Now that we have that, we can add our gravy right on top. Get that mixed in just a little bit. I know that all of you are just loving that I'm using my hands. I'm going to keep doing it because I might as well. Now we're going to finish off with our stuffing slash dressing. Put it right on top in a nice even layer. And I think I'm going to sprinkle in just a little bit of extra Cajun seasoning, as well as just a little bit of ground sage on top because I really like that on my stuffing and my dressing. And what we're going to do is place this into an oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about an hour to an hour and 20 minutes, or until it is nice and golden brown and crispy on the edges, and it should just be a touch soft throughout the whole thing. We're going to let this rest for about 10 minutes. And serve it up to yourself, to your family, whoever you want to give it to. So what I've noticed happen is that the gravy is actually soaked into the stuffing in a really good way. I took a bite and I was like, oh, there's just, you know, moist, good stuffing here now. And all the flavors are there. So that's awesome. I'm cool with that. But if you want to make a little extra gravy, I think that would be great on top. In fact, I may even do that after I'm done with this, but I do want to go ahead and give this a taste to see how it is already. This is fantastic. If you happen to have leftover turkey and want to do this, that would be a great opportunity to make this. The herbs from the chicken and the gravy make everything just kind of come together in a good way. It very much reminds me of Thanksgiving. The Gator Bite Cajun seasoning really kicks it up, makes it a little spicy. And just overall, it's nice and moist. The chicken is super tender, and I don't think I could have done anything better. I'm going to take this and I'm going to go eat it for dinner. See y'all next time. Hey, if you like this video, I think you'd also like my company, Carnivore Companion. We sell no BS clean seasonings at CarnivoroCompanion.com. You can use code CarnivorousChef to save 15% off your order. And if you want to sign up for the email list, we are announcing our Black Friday sale coming up very shortly. And I don't want to give away too much about it, but I do want to say that it's going to be a great sale. Just sign up for the email list and stay tuned.